Hello and welcome, fellow X-Men. It is I, your number one guide to all the tabletop role-playing game news, weather, and general internet nonsense. It's Superhero Thursday. We are continuing our final look at Eric Bloat's Survive This Vigilante City. We're going to look at the superpowers. There's a huge superpower section that he made under mutants, because I guess in his universe, everybody with superpowers is a mutant. Spider-Man, Thor, the Fantastic Four, Batmite, Silver Surfer, Superman, Wonder Woman, mutants. Again, I've talked about what I think about his system before, but this is going to be the final, this is going to be the hard judge. Can his superpower system actually meet up to my ridiculously high expectations? But first, hey, remember this thing? Remember when we spent $9 to get the playtest and it was absolutely awful? And then they fixed the playtest and it was absolutely awful. And then we just all gave up on it. Well, it looks like it's still been kicking around and they've been playtesting it. And I guess now they feel it's ready to release. I don't know why. I think there's some Marvel movies coming out this year. Oh, because Quantum Mania. And the big tie is multiverse. And since Quantum Mania deals with multiverse, and on the tail end of Doctor Strange and the multiverse of madness and everything everywhere all at once, which is actually a much better multiverse movie than Doctor Strange. So yeah, I guess you're trying to get it out in time for Quantumania. So apparently it's finished. They've got some expansions coming out for the not surprising X-Men, at least the pretty ones. I don't see Beak on here anywhere, or iBoy. So yeah, it's finished. Now, if you spent the $10 to get the playtest, does that mean you're going to get a discount on the real one? No, you're going to have to buy it again. Did they improve anything from last time? Well, the weird mechanics are still in, so no, I don't think so. Is this going to capture the true feeling of the Marvel Universe and be a loving homage to our beloved Phase Rip? No, it's not. Am I going to get it? Absolutely not. It's money I'd rather spend on picking up more stuff for Phase Rip or Castles and Crusades or whatever game I end up playing this year. Yeah, but it's out and we're talking about superheroes. So there it is. Meanwhile, moving on. Let's get to the meat of this. Ba-dam! Survive This Mutant Powers. This is from the expansion book, his Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles love letter book, Deep in the Sewers. This explores the whole undercities of Vigilante City and the whole mutant rebellion and all the anthropomorphs and all the adolescent black belt radioactive turtles that are down there. It gives you an expanded look at the mutant power section because, again, apparently if you have superpowers in his world, you're just a mutant. Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, whatever, Superman, all mutants. So in classic Villains and Vigilantes, Marvel, Heroes Unlimited, and every other decent superhero role-playing game, you roll your powers randomly. Why randomly? Because name one superhero whose powers make sense. Even Batman does not make sense. There's some random shit in there. Spider-Man, Spider-Man was rolled randomly. So you have 3 different tables to choose on. Some of the rolls might give you a deformity because they're mutants, and he's going more for a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ugly X-Men theme. But some of the deformities, whatever. And then we've got this weird mechanic for the push, which I still don't get. I mean, pushing your powers to do more stuff, yeah, sure, that's classic. But having random things happen when you push that have nothing to do with your powers, that I don't understand. Like, when was the last time you saw Cyclops push his optic blasts for them to do more devastating and it suddenly starts snowing? Or a giant hole in the ground suddenly appears and he falls in it. Or he teleports. I can't think of one, but I don't know, maybe. If you think of it, can you think of any comic book reference anywhere where any superhero or villain was pushing their powers and there was a totally random effect that happened that had nothing to do with their powers, like it's starting to snow? Now, I could understand, like, you push your flame powers and you start a fire, because that makes sense. But Johnny Storm pushes his flame powers to go flame on and go do his Nova Burst, and suddenly trees grow. I don't recall that ever happening, but I could be wrong. Anyways, so he has 3 tables now. he had just one table in the original book. He's expanded to 3 tables. We have the minor mutations, you know, the little stuff, the quirk things. So some of these are kind of bigger than minor ones. We have the medium level ones, and then we have the true superpowers, and we've got 100 in each one. So starting with the minor powers, ageless, you don't age, but but it comes also, some of these come in with a built-in mutation, which I would say, okay, yeah, you have to take a weakness with some of these, but you should have more selection of what you take. Because if everybody who is ageless has the exact same mutation, sooner or later, you're going to figure out that guy's got that power. Because everybody who has that power has the exact same weakness. So now when the villains or heroes encounter somebody with that mutation, they're going to go, oh, yeah, I know what power he's got. Because he's got the same mutation the other 16 guys with this power has. So I would change that. Ageless is a minor superpower. Sure, you don't age. That's it. You get some bonuses to some stats, but you're stuck at 18 forever. You're not immortal. You're ageless. Sure, why not? You can still die from other things, but plenty of characters. Animal control. Yeah, sure. Animal control, fine. I don't think anything wrong with it. It's pretty much any animals, it looks like. We have anticipation sense. I guess this is their take on danger sense. You have a strong sense of anticipation. You get bonus to armor class and initiative, and you cannot be surprised. Or beauty. So we've got a superpower called beauty, which basically ups your charisma and has people react to you, you know, if they're attracted to you, you know, stuff like that. And they get bonuses and minuses when they're around you. Bedside manner. How is this a superpower? It's so specific to, you're basically a natural healer and you're kind of likable. So when people are suffering, you're the kind of person. Can anybody think of a character who had this power? Why? Then we have blessed, which is kind of like minor luck. It gives you +1 to all your rolls, +1 armor class, +1 hit point, stuff like that. So yeah, you're kind of like, you're not super lucky, but you're +1 now. But then there is a luck power in here, you know, and if I was going to build a character and want to break the game, I'd, you know, take the luck power and I'd take this. Bug mastery. You can summon and control arachnids. Okay. Carapace. You have a shell-like structure on your torso. We've seen characters with this, so yeah. Chameleon. You blend into your environment. So yeah, if you're mobile, you're invisible. If you're moving, you get a bonus to your stealth, stuff like that. You can push to do it more times. Apparently there's a number of times per day you can do it. I'd get rid of that. I mean, just if you stand still and you're not thinking about it, you just start blending in. Remember my story about my Marvel character, the very first Marvel superhero role-playing game I played in, who had chameleon blending on the highest thing a starting player character could have. So if I was standing still, chances are people did not see my character. Of course, my character was a robot with a shift 0 psyche, which means I had to be programmed. You had to tell me what to do. And if you didn't tell me what to do, I would stand there in the corner, blending, so people would forget about me because I was blending in. And then they'd get to the fight and they'd be like, oh, wait, where's Mike's robot? And I'd be like, you guys remember shift 0 psyche? You have to tell me what to do. I'm a 1950s robot. I need to be programmed. So they had to go back and get me. So yeah, chameleon can be fun. Channel rage. My berserker rage. Wolverine, I rage. And yeah, it's like what? First it was Wolverine, you know, and Wolverine had his rage. Then like everybody had rage. And then that fad ended and it's back to just Wolverine having his primal rage. Death sense. You can sense death and sense how injured living creatures are within, I guess, for an NPC who's like super coroner or super investigator. But I don't know. I mean, as a superpower, am I going to be the guy who had to roll 1 power and my power is I can tell if somebody's going to die? That's not a very exciting power. Electromagnetic pulse. This one would be fun. This is what I have in real life. I go around and just shorten out computers and stuff. Emaciation. You are naturally grunt and look weak. No matter how much you eat, you never can put on weight. You gain disadvantages on a whole bunch of stuff, but you get bonuses on dexterity and move because you're so gaunt. So I guess this is one of the disadvantages because I don't see how that's a superpower. Then we have super endurance. Okay, that's a good one. Then we have something called energy shelter. So it's a water. So basically, this is what is it? Invisible hut from D&D, and you can make it look like, so you can make a house, basically. The shelter is one floor and can be 25 feet in radius. It's waterproof, weatherproof, stuff like that. It's got 30 hit points. Doesn't say how many people, but I guess how many people can you fit in that 25-foot radius. Doesn't come with anything. This is a weird power, you know. What's your mutant power? I can make a house. How is that going to help the X-Men? Well, if it's raining in the middle of a fight with the Legion of Doom, I can make a house. Anything else? Well, there's an X-Men who poops ice cream, so really you can't complain about my superpower. Possibilities. Can I use it on somebody else to trap them in my shelter so they can't get out? If I control how people can come in and go out, then I could see some use for it. Excessive girth. You have a person with a large body mass. There are super people who have this. I mean, the Blob, Big Bertha. So yeah, extra organs, dual brains, dual heart, 3 lungs, you know. I would have to expand in this one what each extra organ could and could not do, rather than just, you know, a generic bonus. What if I have 2 brains? Extreme agility, okay, classic. Fearless, classic. Feline powers, classic. Genuine genius. I complained about this one when we were talking about the genuine genius class and the gadgeteer class. What exactly can I do with my genius? Sure, I have extra skills, but what can I build and how fastly can I build them? Can I, you know, your classic comic book geniuses are always building super things and coming up with outrageous plans. And, you know, Reed Richards, he's always got some gadget, you know. So if I am a super genius and I have all these things, then obviously I'm going to want to do something with my super genius besides just be smart and be able to use my non-combat skills more effectively. What can I build? Ghost Hand. So basically Mage Hand as a superpower. I actually think there was a character in Marvel that had this as their only power. You know, I mean, you go by a little pinch, whatever, a little pickpocketing. It'd be good for an NPC or a low power hero whose main thing is like pickpocketing and opening doors and pushing buttons. I don't know. If it could evolve to full on telekinesis later on, maybe. And I think there was a character who had this. So it'd suck that if that was my only power. But yeah, I could see it. Anybody joining us? Nope, we're still alone. Healing touch, fine. Object reading. You touch an object and you know it's passed. So if I pick up, you know, a gun or a sword or a table, yeah, I mean, object reading is classic. Not really in superheroes, but, you know, in low pulp and science-fi, slow power superheroes like, you know, Push and stuff like that. I would think that if you pick up something, you'd also immediately know how it works. So if I touch a car and I object read that car, I would like maybe get a bonus to drive the car or fix the car. If I pick up a gun and object read the gun, I would, you know, generally be semi-decent with the gun because I would understand how it would look. So maybe some skill bonus in there. Horns. You've got horns. Okay. Illusion creator. You can create illusion copies of yourself, another person, or item. So that's not really illusion creator. It's mirror image. But I guess they couldn't use the word mirror image. So basically, this is mirror image as a superpower. Impeccable taste. So basically, you just have impeccable taste. You recognize good music, art, written, stuff like that. You get checks to knowledge regarding arts and humanities. You have a plus bonuses to some stats. How NPC Hannibal Lecter, superhero whose power is that they have, perfect taste, and they always, I don't know when you'd use it in a superhero playing game. How's that a mutation, though? It's not really a mutation. That's just a personality quirk. Iron Constitution. You can eat almost anything, and you have a strong constitution. You never get sick, and you're immune to normal diseases. You have advantages on death and poison saving throws. You can eat and digest almost any substance. So if you're going to do Matter Eater Lad, that one needs always a little bit more work because, Matter Eater Lad wasn't the fact that he could eat anything and dissolve it. It was the power that he could eat anything and dissolve it. He could eat concrete and break it down in his teeth to something that he could digest and poop out later on. So really his superpower was that. The fact that his jaws were powerful enough and his teeth were indestructible enough that he could take a bite out of steel and he'd be fine. And the inside of his mouth was so indestructible that he could eat a grenade and be like, I'm fine. And then once it got through his stomach, he could literally break anything down to digestible matter. Man, can you imagine what the toilet was like at the Legion of Superheroes base after he got done? Woo! I just pooped out a building. Do not go in there. Yeah, if you're going to do Matter Eater Lad, you really got to explain, how is it you can eat dirt? What is my tunneling speed? Killer Instinct, weakness detection. That's a classic. Laughing powers. Your laughter acts as a weapon against your foe. You're always smiling. You have that mysterious evil laugh that makes people just sort of unnerving. Again, that's a skill. The shadows laugh, the Jokers laugh. That's just, they know how to do it in such a way that it comes off as off-putting. That's not a power. Leaper, super leap, classic. Then we have lineages. So somehow, this is like sorcerer lineages. Somewhere in the past of your life, you have some heritage to fantasy races. So I guess this is assuming that fantasy races somehow existed in this world and somehow your character is vaguely related to them. I don't know how this is a mutation, but sure, you could be part dragon, part dwarf, part elf, part giant, part Medusa, part merfolk, part orc, part reptilian, which now means that these exist somewhere in this world for me to be descended from them. Then we have a linguist. You can write and read any language you encounter. Doug Ramsey, the most underrated member of the New Mutants. I am a huge Doug Ramsey fan. They never did Doug right. I mean, they had to give him extra special stuff, and suddenly he knew how to understand the language of combat and they gave him all these weird powers, but because people always complained that Doug Ramsey was useless because all they could do was speak every language and understand every language. Until you realize, who has languages? Aliens, dolphins, whales, birds. He can literally talk to animals. You know what else is a language? Magic. Magic is a language. So Doug Ramsey could have read magic. He could have spoke to animals. Anything that has the ability to communicate in any way, shape, or form was something Doug Ramsey could have been able to communicate with. He's way more powerful than anybody gave him the credit for. Then we have living battery. You can power electrical devices. I mean, okay, that could be, you could get that one and EMP pulse together, and you could have sort of a minor shocker type character. Here, let me recharge your cell phone for you. It'd be a good, fun, second string minor X-Men type character. I could see that. Yeah. Lizard tail, sure. Okay, now here's the one we want. You can build mechanical intuition. You can build, invent, and fix almost any mechanical device. You can build machinery, stuff like that. So basically, if I can imagine it and the DM says it's okay, I can build it. So that is the, the genius character, or that should actually just be part of super genius. Memory power. You have perfect memory and you can visually project it. So what? I can project my memories on a flat surface or a TV screen, and I can transfer memories by touch. Okay, that's devastating. Hi, have these memories of this guy that was tortured during the Holocaust. Hi, here's this memory of a guy who was shot. Let me share it with you. Also, I can project the memories onto a screen, which I guess sort of means like if it's a screen and it's the dark and I project them, does it provide a light source? Can I fool somebody with these memories? Can I make like almost an illusion by projecting a memory of me, what that wall looked like? I don't know. That one needs some work. I can actually think of characters who've used this, so sure, I'm okay with this. This is going to be long, so yeah. Menacing aura. You're slightly frightening. No. Metal claws or talons. That's not a mutation, okay? Wolverine's claws, all that Weapon X stuff are not his mutation. All those Weapon X characters got the adamantium claws because they could survive the operation. Lady Deathstrike, Sabretooth, Wolverine, all the others, their mutation is not that they have metal claws. Their mutation was you will survive the surgery. Therefore, we can put these in you. So yeah, that should be something under Cyborg. Microscopic vision, sure. You're mind block. You're immune to mind reading, suggestion, and mind control. Sure, that exists. My phone's ringing. Hello?
Yeah, Michael, it's Samir from Tree of Knowledge.
Yeah.
Quick thing for you. You had mentioned that you may have a hard time affording the background check and TV test. What I'm thinking is this. Let's see if I can help you out a little bit.
Well, I'm still waiting to find the TB test. My doctor's got to send it to me to see. I'm waiting for my doctor to send me my copy of the TB test.
Oh, you already have one?
Maybe. I don't remember.
Okay. For the live scan form.
Yeah.
For the live scan form, I can have the state and federal fees billed to me directly. Okay? If that helps you, the $49 you don't have to pay them.
Okay.
You would only have to pay them the rolling fee, which is that $20 plus or minus.
All right. So I just would have to. That would be, yeah.
Does that make it easier for you?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to send you a live scan form with the billing information on it.
Mm-hmm.
All you've got to do is fill out the rest of it, go find a location that you are exposed to, and just go get it done as soon as you can.
Sure thing.
Okay?
Thank you. All right. Bye. Except you're lying. No, sorry. I don't know what that was about. Mirror Commander. You can shift your Mirror Master's powers. Okay, we've seen that. So we know that's a thing. Mutant Tracker. We know that's a thing. That could just be part of Super Sense 2. Natural Thief. You have better skills as a thief than normal. I'm sure there's probably a mutant who has had that power, so sure. Plant Control, yeah. Play Dead. We've seen people with that power, but that's not really a mutant power. That's more just exceptional training. That you've learned how to fiend death. What's your superpower? I can pretend I'm dead. Power of the night. You are more powerful in the night. Yes, we've seen that. Projectile enhancement. Any projectile you attack with that would normally do damage does an additional damage. Bullets, throwing things. Again, Gambit's power is not that he is good at throwing things, and he has that exceptional hand-eye coordination and aim. Gambit's power is that he can make those things explode, and that he has some limited control over their ability to go farther than they should, logically. But, the card throwing trick, that's just a skill Gambit practiced. Being able to make my bullets, I would rather maybe, have the thing where I can make the bullets turn corners, like in the movie Wanted. Yeah. Puker, projectile vomit on command. And remember, there's actually a character who has this power. So yeah, unfortunately, this thing's pyrotechnics. Jubilee, yeah. Except actually, what Jubilee's power is not pyrotechnics. Jubilee's power is something different. She's actually way more powerful than everybody gives her credit for. But sure. Quick learner. You're not a genius, but you learn things faster. You get 3 extra skills. I don't care. Sure. Not again, low power. Resistance to stuff. Yeah, that's fine. Resistance to water. Savage. You act in a wild, uncivilized manner. You understand human behavior and customs, but you prefer to live more savagely. That's not a mutation. That's a, you know, just a lifestyle. You learn to survive in this environment and you prefer it. Conan's not a mutant. Kazar is not a mutant. Red Sonja aren't mutants. That's not a superpower. Second sight. You have visions of the future. So precognition. Classic. See through others' eyes. Some sort of limited telepathy that lets me just see through others' eyes as long as they're not too far away. That exists. Sure, we've seen that. Shrink. Yep. Skeletal growths. We've seen that. Skillful. Copy skills of those around you and be as good or better with it than they are. Yeah, that exists. Soothing aura. People feel calm around you. Hey, man, chill out. I actually can think of one character can do that, so sure. Speed reader. No, that's a quirk. That's a trait. That's not a superpower. Spineless. You have no spinal cord, and therefore you cannot move. You can twist and turn with ease. You have great flexibility, but of course, since you have no spinal cord, I'm not sure what your ribs are attached to, or your lungs, or any of the other things that require a spinal cord. Nor do I know where the messages through your body are translated, because the spinal cord houses hundreds of nerves. So yeah, if you're born without a spinal cord, you're pretty much dead. But this is mutants, so maybe. Stinger tail. Yeah, we know characters in it. Sunlight absorption. Yeah, we know that one. Super hearing. Yep. Super resilience. You are just super tough. Yeah, we know characters with that. Taste bud manipulation. Chew. Tracking. You have advantage on all tracking stuff. Maybe. True aim. You are master with ranged attacks. Again, that just feels like more like somebody who's just exceptionally skilled than an actual power. I mean, there are examples of characters whose aim and weapon knowledge borders on the supernatural. So, yeah. Truly ugly. I am assuming that's a disadvantage. True village. You see things as they are and cannot be visually duped. So, true sight. You can see through illusions, stuff like that. Tusks. You have a pair of tusks jutting from your mouth. Sure. Underwater powers. We know that exists. Untraceable. That we've seen characters with that power. Isn't that actually Mr. Terrific's actual superpower? Venomous. You produce venom, sure. Vocal control. I would give that as part of a greater power. Water walking. I'm sure somebody has this power, but usually it's part of something else. Wisdom of the ages. You're extremely wise and learn very quickly. You start with a 14 wisdom and you get extra stand. Nope. I'm not sure. That's Billy Batson. So you're trying to put in Shazam here with the wisdom of Solomon, but Billy Batson is not a mutant. X-ray vision. Yeah, sure. You guys bored yet? This is 28 minutes. Well, here we go. Mutant power Chi B, the medium level powers, the ones you're most likely to run into. Adhesion. Okay. But the adhesion also includes the web swinging. So you have the ability, in addition to adhesion, you can shoot strands of sticky substance. Now, not every character that can climb walls has sticky substance. That's kind of gross. And not every character that has sticky substance can climb walls. Adhesion should be separate. Spider-Man's power of clinging is separate to everything else. Transmutation, alchemy touch. You can change the physical properties of matter. You can alter up to 10 atoms of the single element. So you can disrupt the living, but it doesn't. You can't trust them. So the Medusa touch, yeah. Angel wings, sure. I'm not sure how they're different than regular wings, but you have wings. Armored skin, yeah, we've seen that. Arrow creation, you create arrows or knives made of psionic energy. We've seen that. Butterfly powers, you are half human, half butterfly. There actually was a character who had that. Gypsy Moth, I believe, was her name. Bypass toughness, so some sort of extra damage power. That's a skill. We've seen it in V&V. We've seen that. So yeah, damage bonus. That's the thing. Chosen of the jungle. You're Tarzan, basically. or Khazar the Savage, or somebody who's just been, grew up in the jungle since day one and has had exceptionally skilled in the jungle. Chosen of the urban jungle. There actually is that guy, John Hawkmore, in The Authority. Yeah, he's got that power. Cocoon. At the end of each day, you spin a sleepy cocoon. When you emerge from the cocoon, you're completely healed and you gain a temporary new power. So this is basically the sleeper from the wild cards. Communication control. You can control artificial signals in the area around you. You can amplify, shut down, or modify microwaves, radios, satellite sources. You can double the signal strength, blah, blah, blah. Can I actually hear them or project my voice through them? All I can do is shut down. Can I turn them back on? Modify. But can I hear them? If somebody's using a cell phone within my 100 feet, can I hear their conversation? Can I change their conversation? I would expand on that one. Danger sense. Oh, we do have danger sense, which is, we already had a danger sense, but we have a better version of danger sense, which means the danger sense above is pointless. Delicate field. You create a natural field around yourself that makes people feel tender. Oh, no, that's stupid. Demon wings. No, just wings. Just wings. You just have wings as a power and let the player make them look like whatever they want. Earth power. Sure, that exists. Stretching. Yep. Absorption of energy. Yep. Armor around yourself of a specific element. Sure. Acid armor, though? Yeah. No. Maybe. Air armor? No. Cold armor? Yeah. Cosmic armor? Sure. We can't think of anything else. It's just cosmic. This should just be everything. Electricity armor? Yeah. Fire armor? Yeah. Force field around myself? Sure. Lava armor? Yeah. Armor of light around myself? That would go under cosmic. Armor of radiation around myself? I kill everybody in the room. I mean, we know characters have that, so sure. Armor of shadow? Actually, yeah, we know that one. That would exist. Armor of sonic? Maybe. I don't know. Energy blast? Acid? No, it's not an energy blast. That's you can spit acid. That would be separate. I don't know. Energy blast, airstrike. I can blast you with air. Gust of wind. Sure. Cold, energy blast, cold. Yes. Energy blast, concussive blast. Yes. Energy blast, cosmic. All right. This one covers everything that you couldn't think of. Basically, when in doubt, it's a cosmic energy blast. Electricity blast. Sure. Fire blast, force blast. Yes. Sure. How is this different than the concussive blast? There should just be this one. You don't need this one. Lava blast. Yep. Laser beam. Yep. Magic. I have an energy blast. Magic. You already have energy blast cosmic. You don't need energy blast magic. Energy blast psionic. I have no other psionic powers, but I can give you migraine. Actually, I have an NPC named Kid Migraine who can give people. So yeah. Energy blast radiation. Kill your friends. Sure, why not? Energy blast shadow. Questionable, but we've seen it. Energy blast sonic. Definitely. Energy vampire. You drain energy from a being. We know that exists. Enhancing blast. You have the power to blast other mutants and enhance their abilities. There was a character who had that. What was her name? Spectrum or Synergy or something like that. She was in Gen 13, I think. So yeah, there was a character whose power was to make other characters' powers work better when they were around her. So yeah. Ever conscious. Why would I ever want that power? I'm always awake. Evolver. You have a unique mutation that makes you gain a new mutation every day. Once a day, after getting at least 6 hours of sleep, you awake with a new random mutation. It lasts 24 hours, and then it goes away, and you already have this power. You have this power twice. Expiration field. You have a field around you that make people consider their mortality. No. Explosive charging. That is Gambit's powers, ladies and gentlemen. That is the power. So yeah, that one's fine. Extra legs. Weird, but we've seen it. Fear eater. You get more powerful when you're around people who are afraid. Yeah, there's a character in Villains and Vigilantes who has that, but he also can make people afraid. Folly field. Basically, bad luck. You make people make more mistakes around you. We know that one exists. Forever young. You're extremely young and age at 1/10 the rate of a normal person. and you do not physically age at all. The Lazarus syndrome. So you're slowly getting older, but physically you're still 15, except you already have that power. So why have a different one that does the exact same thing? Just combine the two. Now we have form, wood. You could transform into solid wood. Yeah, what an amazing power. I'm a table. But there is a guy whose power is to turn into solid stone and not be able to move, so this probably exists. Giant growth, sure. Graceless field. You project a field around you that makes people clumsy, but I would go with the other one. I would just make them combine them. Gun affinity. You're really good with guns. Wanted. Just pick up any gun and use it, no matter how, even if you've never used it before. I have a feeling this exists, so yeah. Ham-fisted, classic pulp. You have big hands, the goon. Yeah, hand manipulation. You can change your hands into weapons. That exists. Heat vision, yep. Hour of need. You have mutant abilities that only manifest when you've been hurt. So when you're hurt, you gain bonuses to your stats. Dumb. Human computer. That's a quirk. That's not a superpower. Insect blast. You can project out a blast of insects. That's kind of gross, but we know it exists. The interrogator. You are a master of getting information from people. That's not a superpower. Invisibility. Yep. Iron feet. That's not called iron feet. You're immune to being knocked back and tripped and knocked over, stuff like that. Always falling on your feet. There's a different name for that, but it's not iron feet, but that exists. Kinetic absorption. You are immune to all forms of kinetic attack. And when you absorb enough of it, you can project it back. Yeah, that exists. Magic eater. People who just disrupt magic around them. That'd be mutation that I would never know about unless I was actually around magic. So, yeah. Mastermind. You are super intelligent and accumulate wisdom. You already have a power that gives me super intelligence, so I don't need this one. Metal wings, just wings. You can mind bomb. You can affect the minds of people around you to make them feel, yeah, we've already done that. We don't need this one. Needle skin. Yeah, that actually exists. Negation of magic powers. When would that ever come up? What if that would only happen if there was then, people with magic, and then I could be like, oh, your magic doesn't work around me, Dr. Strange. But in a fight with the Incredible Hulk, I'm useless. Negator mutant powers. We actually have seen that one. Negator psychic powers. We've seen that one, but it was the same person who could negate mutant powers. Nightingale song. You have a voice that heals and motivates those around you. I know where he got the idea for this one, but again, when have we actually seen this in a comic book? Pheromone control. We've seen that one in comics a lot. Power drain. You touch people and drain their memory. Yep. Rogue. Prehensile hair. Medusa. Radiation mastery. Yep, that one exists. Radar 6. Yes. Reactive adaptation. One of my favorites. That one exists. Regeneration. Yep. Self-maintaining system. That one exists. Actually, you should just combine that one with reactive adaptation. Shape change into animal. Yep. Shape change into anthropomorphic animal. I would just make that a part of this. Shape change into human. Yeah, we know that one. Shape change into a large animal. I would just make animal. Just Beast Boy can turn into any animal. Siren song. You've listed this power twice. So just include this with the mockingbird, hummingbird song or whatever it's called. Stinker. You're basically the human skunk, but there is a character who can do this. So yeah. Stupefying field. You make people around you stupider. I have a feeling I have that one. Maybe? I don't know. I would just try to combine it with something else. I would think. I don't know if I'd make it a separate power. Super athlete now. Yeah. I mean, actually, yeah, there are people, Caps. Captain America is a super athlete. But this doesn't seem very super. You can just get +2 to a couple stats. And your advantages on athletic. Yeah, that's if you're going to make super athlete, then it needs to be a little bit better than this. Otherwise, it's a minor power. Super speed. Well, we have the Speedster class. Is this better than the Speedster class? Otherwise, you already have a Speedster class, which you don't really need. But sure, Super Speed Classic, Super Strength Classic, Supreme Immune System. You've already got that in here twice with 2 other things, so you could just combine them all in one. Tactician, Mutant Tactician. Yeah, I would expand this one, but we know this one exists. Team Link, that would just be part of telepathy. Thought Eater, you can disrupt psychic energy. Actually, yeah, there's a character who has that. You have a field around you that makes people not like you. That seems like a disadvantage. Volcanic powers, yep. Weakening field. You have a field around you that makes people feel weaker. Actually, I think that exists, so sure. Wingless flight. It's just flight. Why do you need to call it wingless flight? Then we have the big boys. The big mutant powers. 9 lives. You can die 9 times and come back from the dead. After that, you're dead for a period. We know that exists. We've seen that a couple times, but I don't know if that's a major power, especially if it's not combined with anything else. Aching Beautiful. Actually, yeah, we do know that there's characters that have had this. I don't remember the name. Acid for Blood, the alien. Acid for Blood doesn't make sense. It doesn't work. You would literally be killing yourself, but we know people have it. Acid Rain. You can summon and control clouds that spew acid rain. Yeah, I can't. I mean, I'm sure there was a villain in Captain Planet that could do that. Aggressive Retribution. Whenever somebody damages you, you do more damage back to them. Actually, that exists. Amazing Reflexes. Basically just bonuses to some of your stats. That feels more minor than major. Aphrodite's Embrace. You're a natural matchmaker. I know that exists. I don't know but there's usually part of it somebody else's power. I would include that in just heightened charisma. And Mazora's Armor, personal force armor. Why does it have a name? Why don't you just call it force field or personal force field? Why does it have to be called Asmaron's Armor? What's your mutation? Force field boy, Asmaron's Armor. No, you just have a personal force field. Blood Armor. You can create a thin layer of blood that surrounds you as protective armor. Why isn't this with all the other ones that you already listed in minor powers? Born Leader. Yeah, I don't know if that's a superpower. Break the Fourth Wall. The only person who has break the fourth wall that's actually lets them be a superpower is Gwenpool, because she can actually step out of the comic books, pages and walk over to a different comic book page. She-Hulk and Deadpool apparently know they're in a comic book more than once and have talked to the audience, but it's not actually one of their powers. The only one who has a break the fourth wall is actually one of their powers is Gwenpool. So I'd move that down. Bulletproof. I'd move that down to minor. Clone Self. How many can I make? Yeah. Create temporary extra copies of yourself. Yeah, that exists. Cold Ore. Fine with that. Combat Sense. Fine with that. Cosmic Power. Okay, what does the cosmic power let me do? It's just sort of a combination of other forms. Captain Marvel. Sure. Create Weakness. You can alter the structure of mutants to suddenly develop them in things to make them have a weakness. But only mutants and anthropomorphs. I can't alter the physical structure of that guy with a gun or that wall, but I can make a mutant suddenly have a weakness to the color of light blue or electricity damage. I'm sure something like that has existed, but usually it's, I can do that to anybody, not just specifically one. So, yeah, and then once I make them weak to acid, I then have to hit them with acid or let everybody else know, I've made him weak to acids. Quick, somebody hit him with acid. None of us have acid, Steve. Why didn't you make him weak to something we had, like a sandwich? Might as well, yeah, these work. Damage Adaptation, that we've seen. Damage Adjuster, that one we've seen. No, this one you can change the damage from one type to the other. You still get hit by it. then they would assume that you have something that protects you extra. If I'm shooting you with my gun and you turn it into fire, that then it's sort of implying that why would you do that unless you're immune to fire or you know the person you're fighting is weak to something. I guess you're supposed to go in that if I know I'm fighting somebody who's weak to ice or kryptonite, I can change my attack to equal the be kryptonite, thus doing the damn. Otherwise, what's the point? Extra arms, yeah, that's a minor power, but sure. Extra head, there's one guy who has that, so yeah. Force field, how is this different than the armor of Agaroth? Unless you do other people. Acid form, you can shape change into watery acid. Okay, I mean, sure, shape changing into liquids exists. You can transform your body into an angel. I don't know about that one. You change into a banshee. Specifically a banshee, not just incorporeal undead, but specifically a banshee. You can transform into a ravenous, savage beast, werewolf. So, sure. You can transform into crystal, yes. You can transform into a devil. My mutant power, I mean, probably is somebody who can do that, or just looks like a devil. I make that a weakness. Transform into diamond, we know that exists. Transform into digital, we've seen that one. Transform into a dragon. Yeah. Transform into a fairy. We know there's somebody who is teeny and looks, well, I guess, the Wasp, and there's a character in the X-Men who can shrink and grow butterfly wings, and I think her name is Pixie. So, yeah, transform into fire, transform into gas, transform into ice, transform into laser. Yes, that one's the same as the other one. Transform into lava. Yes. Transform into light. Yes. Transform into the Medusa. No, you just are a Medusa. You already have that. I'm descended from Medusas. So transform into metal. Sure. Transform into mud. Yep. Transform into sand. Yep. Transform into shadow. We've seen that. Transform into slime. We've seen that. Transform into smoke. We've seen that. Transform to stone. Yep. Turn into the void. Well, I mean, that's a power you can use once. So then you suck yourself into another dimension as you become a living black hole. I have a feeling there was a character who was a living black hole, or at least, no, there was the guy who claimed he had a living black hole in his head, Zorn, but it turned out he didn't actually have a black hole. This one I don't know about. Transform into water, shoe. Glitter skin. Glitter skin. That's just, what? Glittery skin? That's not Dazzler's power. Okay, I get it. Golem creator. You can make golems. Actually, there was a character in one of the very earliest villains that fought the Fantastic Four could have that power, so sure. Heat aura. You generate, yep. Imaginary armor. You can create armor and weapons of energy at will. Okay, yeah. It's low powered Green Lantern. Immortality. That exists. Incite hatred. You can make people really angry at you. I think that exists. Insanity manipulation. You can control people who are already insane. I want to say there was a supervillain who could do that, so sure. Intangibility. Yep. Invulnerability. Yep. Justice field. You have an extra ability to do people that are done wronged or attacked. But who's to judge if what they're doing is wrong? They might not think what they're doing is wrong, and then, it might not do any damage to them. That seems dumb. Karma halo, protective halo, natural halo, negative halo. This is not Halo's powers, okay? But I see what you're trying to do here. But yeah, no, I was just, yeah. Life stealer, you can drain the life out of living beings. That's more of a villain power, but we know people have it. Living railgun, yep. You can shoot them through your mouth at high speeds. I don't know if the guy who did that did it through his mouth. I know they've done it in like cartoons. Where like, Popeye ate some nails and then spit them out. So, okay. Lucky. So you combine, this gives you advantage on everything, and anybody rolling against you has disadvantage, and you combine that with the blessed, and then, yeah. Machine manipulation. You can control non-sentient machines. That one exists. We've seen that one. Magic enhancer. I have never seen that one, but I bet sure it's such a specific situation that I don't know. It would be for fun for anybody to roll this power and then just be around a bunch of people, none of whom have magic. Well, if Doctor Strange was here, but I can't help Spider-Man. Magnetism, Midas form. You can transform your body into golden metal. What is difference? How is that different than the just turn into metal? That's just dumb. Mimic. You can mimic. Yeah. You're immune to telepathy, mental control, and mental intrusion. I would just put that with the other immunities. Mind control, momentum. You can basically, if you roll a good roll, you can keep rolling better rolls by adding more and more bonuses to your roll. So if you roll an attack, then you get to add +1 to your attack and +1 to your damage to the next roll, and then +2 to the next one until you miss. Same with skill checks. That would be cool with luck. Mutant enhancer. We already had this one. You've had this one twice. Mutative bolts. You shoot this person at people, and they can automatically roll a push for their powers, and then you can give them a temporary deformity. I don't know. I know what he's thinking of with this. But yeah, necromancer. You can raise the undead, but you're not a necromancer. You just have the natural superpower to raise the undead. Except we've seen this, so yeah. Nightmare control. You can cause people to fall asleep and have horrible nightmares that affects them in reality. That actually exists, but supervillains. You can cause pain manipulation. You can cause or negate the sensation of pain. Yeah, that does exist, though, mostly supervillains. Phoenix Rising. When you're knocked out or die, Phoenix Rising is very specific to one individual from one. Yeah, no. Plague carrier. You carry around with you a strain of the plague. Very specific. They know what character he was thinking of when he built this, but yeah, I don't see how would this help me as a superhero. Plant mastery, sure. Platform creation. You can create energy platforms below you, but that's it. Can I use it to fly? I mean, sort of go up and down. Sort of a weird, there was a character who'd had this. He was called Mr. Pandora. So sure. Pocket dimension, sure. Portal creation, yeah, it exists. Possession, yep. Poison enhancer. Oh, Scion enhancer. I thought that said poison enhancer. Scion enhancer, so you can bolster other people with psionics. But then there would have to be people around you with psionics. Otherwise, you're pointless. Push resistant, you already have that one. So you have it twice. Or unless you mean that you cannot be pushed by the mutant pushing power, which means that if Cyclops uses his energy blast, pushes his energy blast, then there's the negative effect that it starts snowing. You are resistant to it. That's stupid. Then I also think the push rules are stupid. So I would get rid of that, and I would get rid of the push rules. Sanctuary order. Everybody around you feels peace and calm. That's stupid. Self-sustainer. You already have this power 3 different times. Slow motion. That exists. Super genius. This is just upgraded. You already have super genius. You don't need it twice. Telekinesis. 5 pounds. I can't make myself fly to level 10. If you're going to have telekinesis, you got to upgrade it, because telekinesis is the biggie. Teleportation. Sure, we know people can teleport themselves. Tendrils. Yep. Time travel. Yep. Tornado attack. Yep. Torpedo. You can turn yourself into a living projectile. Cannonball. Yep. Yeah. Unstoppable force. Yeah, we know that exists. Vampire powers. You've already done this 2 other times, but sure. We have something that you're basically a vampire. So why not just say, I'm a vampire. Descendants, vampire. You've already got Descendants powers. You've already got energy drain. You've already got life drain. This one basically says I am a vampire, in addition to maybe also being on fire. I don't know. Would I let a player character just be a vampire? Weather control, sure. Wishmaster, helpful. Wishmaster, malicious. You can grant people's wishes. And then the DM has to judge what it is that you happened. So somebody comes up to you and you're like, I wish I had some sunblock. You're like, bam, sunblock. I wish I was in Bermuda. Bam, we're all in Bermuda. Well, John, the Thunderbolt. If you've watched Stargirl on DC before it was canceled on CW, he could grant wishes, but he granted the wishes as they were told to him. So you had to be very specific, or the wishes would often go wacky. So yeah. Again, that's just so specific. I know what character you're trying to do with that, but that's just really specific to one character and characters like, Mr. Mixaplex and stuff like that. So really it's more of an NPC Deus Ex Machina than something I would give a player character. I don't know. I mean, wasn't the living cosmic cube, I guess that was the living cosmic cube's power when the cosmic cube took on a persona? Because yes, that happened. He could sort of grant wishes. And I guess the Beyonder could sort of, It would definitely, some of these feel like, NPC powers. And worst fears. You've already got that power in there. So you've already got this. So there's definitely a few repeats. There's definitely a few that need work. There's some that just don't make sense. There's some where I'm reading them, and as a comic book guy, I'm going, okay, I know what you're trying to do. This was going to be either his, strongest area or his weakest area, because all the other stuff he's done, the normal powered guy stuff are fine. I would only tweak like 2 of them. The super powered guy stuff, other than the mutants, requires some tweaking, but they're fine. The cyborgs, the robots, the powered armored guys, I would just say give them more options, tweak them. The gadgeteer guy, the vehicle guy, the magic dude, I would say just more options, more versatility. But other than that, everything's fine. But this is the one I was going to judge the hardest, because this is the actual superpowers. And in this world, the only people who get superpowers apparently are mutants, which means anybody with a superpower is categorized as a mutant. Sorry, Thor, you're not the son of Odin, you're a mutant. So yeah, I would change that a lot. And as you saw, there's a lot of powers in there that are redundant, that would need to be redone, or just combined into one power. There's some in there which I'm like, I don't really understand what it is you're trying to duplicate here, but okay. So yeah, I don't know. But on a scale of 1 to 10, it doesn't suck. There was plenty on there that I was perfectly fine with. There's some that just need some work. There's some that just need a better understanding of the comic book genre and how these powers have been represented in other games. As always, when in doubt, crib Heroes Unlimited. If you have no other source to look at superpowers, crib Heroes Unlimited. Or go to the very extensive website that has listed every single solitary superpower ever that is manifested in comic books or anime or movies, and then trying to give descriptions of them. So yeah, that's pretty huge. That's it. So yeah, it still ranks in my top 5. All my complaints are minor. They're just things I would go through and tweak if I were to rewrite it, or change a little, or get rid of. There's no major flaws that I can find. Having played through it a couple times already, the system's okay. For the low-powered pulp level characters, it's fine. For the upper-powered ones, like, if you throw a Superman into Vigilante City, or my super soldier that I've been playing, that's when that you can start seeing that there needs to be some changes to allow a Superman and a Batman to coexist and not have one make the other look, like there's no reason for them to be there. One of the few things Vigilantes does so exceptionally well is the way the curves work is that you can have a character who's a Batman, Joe martial arts, and you can have a Superman who's just got, outrageous powers, and they do complement each other. And the system is such that the Batman character never feels like they're overpowered by the Superman character, and the Superman character never really feels like, oh, the Batman character is doing way too many things that I can never do. It's one of the few things Villains and Vigilantes just got right. So if you're going to include superpowered characters who can, bend reality, and then you've got somebody whose power is I shoot guns really good, then you need to have a system that makes them both feel like they're useful. And having played a couple of games of Survive This Vigilante City and seeing that, I'm just playing a super soldier. Super soldier is basically just outrageous stats. And I'm already, overpowering most of the fights with my, I get plus 16 damage. How much damage do you do? D4 plus 2. Yeah. So that's the main area it needs work. But if you got rid of the superpower stuff and just ran it as a street level defenders and tweaked the few that needed to be tweaking, pretty much close to perfect for capturing that flavor. But when you enter the superpowers, you go to the Batman Beyond, you go to the X-Men, you go to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and that's, an extra level of work, an extra level of contemplating how things work and how all characters will feel like they're useful. And then having actual superpowers that do not totally 100% break the game or do not, aren't redundant. Like there's, several times during my read through, I was like, this is redundant. You already have this power. This is redundant. You already have this power. So in closing, yeah, I definitely give it a thumbs up. There's a link down below if you want to see your own copy. I've just wasted an hour of your time. I apologize, but I wanted to go through this in depth. This is the last time we'll take a look at Survive This Vigilante City. Next week, we'll do a different game if you want to see me do this. Until next time, I'm the OG GM. If you appreciate this, please consider supporting me through the links down below. Buy my merch at Big Geek Emporium, please. Till next time, see ya.